Dinner date with a guest. I was raised in the hospitality industry. My dad buys old hotels/motels and fixes them up, then sells them again. During the fix-up process he keeps them operating like normal hotels. As his oldest child, it was usually my responsibility to help keep things running. So I thought I'd share some of my favorite tales. This one takes place after I decided to stretch my wings and work for a hotel not owned by my family. I was alternating between second and third shift at this hotel. Now at the time I had my hair dyed a ridiculously bright red, like fire truck red, and while my boss had been hesitant to let me keep it, I never got anything from compliments from guests. This particular hotel was located near a hospital and offered a discount and shuttle service for people with relatives at the hospital. During one of my second shifts, this older man comes to check in. He's staying for a week with the hospital rate and looks very distressed. His English isn't great, but he does his best. Several times during the process he mentions how much he likes my hair. He also got very talkative about why he was staying there. Since it was a slow night, I indulged him. Turns out that his wife had been flown to our hospital from Puerto Rico. After he checked in, he went to the hospital to check on his wife and stayed there for a while. I was still on shift when he returned, and he asked me where he could get some food. I gave him a list of restaurants that delivered to us. He asked which was my favorite and what I liked to eat there, then wandered off to make his call, then lingered around the lobby waiting for the delivery. When the delivery showed up, he brought his food to the desk and set a box in front of me. He told me that he hadn't eaten dinner alone in 50 years and he wasn't ready to start. He had ordered the food that I told him was my favorite and was hoping that I'd be able to eat with him. Since my relief had showed up already, I clocked out early and sat in the breakfast room with the guest to eat our food. Every night after that was the same thing. He'd come home from the hospital and ask me to order food for him so he'd get the front desk discount, and I'd order my own food or warm up whatever I brought. His wife wasn't doing good and he ended up having to stay with us for almost 2 months. We had dinner together every night. I lived 2 blocks away and would come in on my days off. The guy was really nice and really lonely. His wife wasn't doing good and none of his kids were able to get to the US. He called me red even after I'd changed my hair and would tell me all about his life in Puerto Rico and his kids. After a lifetime of shitty guests, it was a really great experience. His wife ended up passing away in the hospital and he made sure to wait for me to come into work to leave and thanked me for the dinners and let me know that I'd made a hard time a little bit better. Part 2. Which profession has the most F-up people in it? Person 1. I've had 2 close friends in my life become life coaches. Calling them wackadoodle is close to the truth, they are, but there is more to it. They want to help people, but have no discerning skills outside of reading too much fad fitness/self-help literature, and being charismatic. Also, are both fairly wealthy but didn't make the money themselves. I think their heart is in the right place, but the wealth, crunchy granola bars, and pseudo-intellectualism many from self-help books melted their brains. Person 2, me being a psychologist student feel that so much. My ex once confronted me about the difference of a coach and a psychologist and I felt really offended. It's not about feeling superior, nothing like that, but putting yourself through the path to really learn how things work in an organized way. Not just what matters to you, not only giving advice, ethics exist. There's regulations. Also, psychology is not only about helping people out in their decisions and being healthy. There's research, teaching, social work, education, etc. Psychotherapy is a tiny category. Also the science behind it. It's always good to know what you're talking about and who came up with that theory based on what. Person 3, a lady I used to work with became a life coach after taking voluntary redundancy. She'd been working there for 15 years, so the package was quite good. And she was always ridiculously upbeat about things, to the point it was almost annoying, so it seemed to suit her. Lots of FB and LinkedIn posts followed promoting her life coach business. Her struggles were the voluntary redundancy, giving up sugar, losing 10 pounds, and finding the confidence to become a life coach. Her husband was a director of the business he works for, so financially they were fine regardless. I think she's self-published a book now.